Okay. Hi, I'm Heather, and I'm trying to clear some emotional constipation and maybe some intellectual stuff. Ugh, it feels like there's pressure. Sorry, hope that wasn't real loud. Okay, so a couple things to start with. Uh, this is definitely going to be like a long, probably messy video. I'm hoping to let myself be a stream of consciousness as possible. While also, it would be sort of nice to kind of be able to tell a complete story. So that's something I'm trying to practice is if I start telling a story, even if I go off onto a little side tangent, come back to the original story. Um, and one of the ways to do that is to take a deep breath. I'm also going to practice talking about things that are very hard to talk about at a higher level of like emotional flavor, I guess, instead of like the dark crying, the stuff that most people can't handle to see, to witness. It's more of the like, I'm sad, maybe crying, and still being able to tell a story without like sobbing. So that's my goal. Is to not take too big of tangents. I am compassionate with myself when I can't translate completely the idea or the concept or the visual that I'm trying to translate into words. I am not going to get frustrated with that because just talking like this without having to plan or prepare or track myself or make sure I'm not being annoying or whatever, demasking basically my this is what I look like when I'm humaning uh, suit. Okay, so those are probably good enough disclaimers. Um, okay, brief flow. Oh, I'm gonna get my toy. I'm gonna get my toy. Maybe I'll even bring my cards over, but I don't want to get distracted. I want to tell some stories. Okay, I think I'm gonna real quick go get my my other like favorite fidget toy because it's special. I'll be right back. Ah, there it is. Okay. All right, I'm back. So I suspect that the sound that this rattle makes, it might not sound good on the video side. So this is just a test. But first of all, this is a silver baby rattle. I'm pretty sure it was the very first um, rattle my daughter was given. It's possible. I can't remember the details. I did ask my mom yesterday, and I think she's already answered if she's the one who gave this to me. And now I'm trying to remember if I had it before my daughter was born, or I don't know. But yeah, so I love this sound. I've always loved this sound. I play with this every opportunity I get, but it's been packed a lot over the past 7 years. But over the past, I don't know, year, I've had it out like on my altar or with my altar stuff. And lately, I have been getting really into fidgets. I don't know where I have another one in a jacket pocket or something. Um, I especially like the ones that are fairly unobtrusive. They're not noisy, is the main thing. Even though I like some noise for myself, like those will be the ones that I play with at home or on my own. But something like this might be distracting, but it's pretty and it's quiet and it's people can control their eyeballs and look at different stuff. I shouldn't have to, you know, control everything about myself so that you don't get distracted. Uh, anyhow, so yeah, I've recently been learning about all the humongous benefits of fidgets. They're not just like a thing for kids to play with that's kind of annoying to everyone else. Um, for neurodivergent in particular, um, this is a way like move fidgeting, moving, doing playing something like this um, are all examples of ways that we naturally and uh, see. It's hard to even talk about it because my like I've had to mask like every one of my my natural innate coping mechanisms because like none of them are socially acceptable. Um, so So I'm realizing I know like some emotions coming up, and mostly it's like what the flavor I'm feeling is I guess I'll go ahead and just act it out in a role play. Okay, so I'm speaking both to my daughter when she was younger, as well as myself through uh, essentially my entire life. I still pretend that I'm not fidgety around people, if I don't know them that well, or if I don't know if I'm like a meeting, like I'm not like twitching constantly. But when I'm home, I let myself make whatever movement, play with whatever toy, make sounds. Um, I don't do it as completely like in front of my partner as I do when I'm home alone. But I definitely let him in more than anyone else. um, but yeah, the pain is around. Um, okay, so the other thing I want to be grateful for I want to start with gratitude is I did innately recognize my natural coping mechanisms. I utilized them, probably to great effectiveness. I don't remember because I don't remember how old I was when I started probably going to school. That probably going to school was when I really had to watch myself. I would get in trouble if I moved too much, if I talked too much, if I uh, wiggled too much, made too much noise. I had to do everything in a certain way, right? I mean, in the mid 70s, it still was totally appropriate to like scare the children with a paddle. I don't remember us having that in kindergarten or I don't know. I don't remember that until elementary school. But there were fear tactics to make the children stay still, quiet. Raise your hand. Raise your hand to ask a question. Raise your hand to give input. Raise a hand to go to the bathroom. Raise a hand. Any you have to have permission and you have to sit right. So the indoctrination started young. Oh no, okay. No, it started earlier. All right. So some of my earliest coping mechanisms to kind of release energy or to feel safe was a baby blanket. Its name was Gomet. Gomet. I don't know the story. Maybe someday my baby self will like tell me why I named it that way. I don't know. I don't know what gourmet means. Anyway, it was pink and I love that this just like innately happened. I just like turned into a little kid. I think I still have a piece of it in my like history bin. I should go through soon. It was pink. I think it had little like deer on it. I don't think they were Bambi. Um, but there was also something else in the like history chest that has Bambi on it, I think. Anyhow, some of my favorite parts about it were that it had, I wish I had an example, like on satin blankets, there's usually like a trim around the edge and where the uh, sewing is, it's like bumpy. Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I don't want to get distracted by all the good things I have now, but I wanted to stay focused on going ahead and saying out loud because they've been shamed. That's why I kept it secret. What my coping mechanisms were naturally as a child. Um, uh, Being really loud, feeling my emotions extremely fully, um, probably making a lot of noise, whether it be just singing or humming or boop, beep, boop. I don't know, like just playing with sound was something I know I like to do, wiggling, having rage fits, slamming doors, mostly like, yeah, if I didn't get my way or wasn't understood or anyway. So obviously, I mean, I'm still of the generation where it was believed children should be seen and not heard. Pretty much the majority of the adults around were of that belief, except for maybe the younger ones. Anyone over 30, children should be seen and not heard. And don't cry. I'll give you something to cry. Don't stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about with absolutely no follow up as to, honey, this is how we can, like feel better, so, soothe yourself so that you don't want to cry anymore. Like, go ahead and cry. I'm not going to stop you, but there's ways if you want to calm down. I wish it were that Instead, it was like, stop crying. I'll give you something to cry about. Go to your room. You're a bad kid. Instead of the behavior, like, your behavior is really upsetting to me. Or I feel very upset as I receive your behavior instead of you're a bad child. You're hurting me. All right. So I'm not necessarily saying, yeah, I bet those words were said to me. Actually, it's probably fairly accurate. All right. I was a thumb sucker too. That was a big one. I was a thumb sucker. It makes sense to me. I liked the texture. Like, it doesn't do anything for me now. It feels dead if I try to put my thumb in my mouth. Yeah, it's unpleasant actually. Um, oh, was that aversion therapy? That's it. That's an interesting idea. Anyhow, I was a thumb sucker, and again, the wisdom of the time was that was a baby thing to do. You were supposed to stop sucking your thumb by, I don't know, I'm guessing 3. Um, and I was 4 or 5. I'm pretty sure I was at least 5 before I really stopped. Um, no, before I stopped letting people see me. That was the thing. I had to be in secret to use my soothers. Even if I was like sucking my thumb when I was asleep, I would get in trouble if they saw me. Anyway, the common wisdom was you stop because if you suck your thumb too much, as your um, as your teeth grow, like as everything grows, as your jaw grows, if you constantly have your tongue and your thumb in your mouth or a lot, see how I like stutter talking about stuff that's upsetting. So interesting. Anyway, yeah, you would ruin your mouth. You ruin your mouth. You're gonna ruin your teeth. That's what it was. You're gonna ruin your teeth if you keep sucking your thumb. Um, Something about it was also really irritating to everybody else. I don't really know what, but Yeah. Um, Everybody else meaning not kids. Okay, so the aversion therapy, I don't remember all the ways, but I know there some of them. Like I have flashes of memory. Um, okay, this is probably gonna get hard to translate these flashes of memory because I think they're all in Hawaii. These particular memories. So I must have been like 4. So yeah, I guess that's why I think 3-year-olds were supposed to stop. You're supposed to stop at 3. First they were yelling. They would yell at me. They would pull my hand out of my mouth, like roughly. And usually I was already upset, like I'm trying to soothe myself. And this is a natural like thing to do. That's why binkies work. uh, so this is natural instinct to self-soothe. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's like nerve endings or something up there. Oh, duh! It reminds you of breastfeeding, bottle feeding, I guess, if breastfeeding wasn't available. But um, it's a natural breastfeeding thing. Okay, there we go. So I would be trying to self soothe. I'd be upset already. Then my self soothing tool was roughly taken from me, or, like I'm a very sensitive kid. So, of course, someone yelling at me was always also confusing. Like, why am I in trouble for doing something that helps me feel better? Um, why is it wrong? Why is it not okay? Why are you so rough about it? Okay. So that was phase 1, but since I couldn't give it up, I didn't have other self-soothing tools. Now I'm starting to see like side goes. Is this where addiction is born? Because you don't learn other tools for self-soothing, and then if you don't learn tools for self-soothing, then all you can do is numb because it's too fucking uncomfortable. Everything's too fucking uncomfortable, and all the energy stuck in there like fucking sucks. So, all right, the escalation. Um, I know that gloves were a thing. Of course, sucking on a cotton glove. It was disgusting. I'm sure I still did it though. But see, then I would start to like give myself aversion therapy because I hated feeling gross in any way. Like if I had a wet thumb, that would have fucking grossed me out. So that was probably one that actually was fairly effective to start with before I figured out how to overcome this barrier. So let's pause while he's barking. Hey, buddy, Jasper. Oh, I'm starting to get hungry. What time is it? 12:41. What time did I give myself? Okay, so I think he's done barking. Let's see what time it is. Oh, I still have lots of time. I gave myself until 1:30 to do my own thing. Okay, I bet that's not very loud, so I'm gonna go back. Okay. So the aversion therapy. Okay, so I hated soggy. I hated the feel of the cotton in my mouth, and it was probably too big. I'm sure I had tiny hands, so it was also probably too big. I doubt. I don't think there were like the springy version of those cotton gloves that are so common now until I was an older kid. Because I remember the first time I saw the kind that like stretched and were actually tight to your skin. My mind was fucking blown. I was like, oh my God, finally there's something I can wear to cover my hands that isn't humongous. And so if that had been available when I was little, I probably wouldn't have been able to stop. But okay, so eventually figured out, oh, it's not just mommy and Pete who can take my glove off. I can take my glove off. So I would get all surreptitious and stuff and like hide and take my glove off. And then, of course, I'd start to chill. I'd start to relax, probably start to fall asleep, and then I'd get busted. Is this why I have a hard time sleeping? uh, so much awareness. Okay. So, I figured out how to take the gloves off. So then the next step was tape them on. And obviously that felt fucking horrible because I don't know what age kids start to grow hair on their arms. I really don't. But no matter what, it hurts. It fucking hurt to have a fucking glove taped to my goddamn arm. Um, so, and then the removal of the tape, like everything about that sucked. So maybe that stopped. Who knows? Maybe that stopped because obviously it was so upsetting to me. And I think maybe something would work for a while. Maybe that's what it was. Something would work for a while. And then eventually I wouldn't be able to, um, my willpower would give out. I mean, I'm a kid, I'm a toddler. Like, toddlers aren't meant to have a lot of fucking willpower. Um, is that why I have astounding willpower now sometimes? I don't know. God damn it. Okay, so when it wasn't the gloves taped to my hands, hot sauce. Hot sauce. Hot sauce sucked because there was my thumb. It was a perfectly like so close. um it was, and I would just want it. But I would like, no, fuck, that's hot. And then I would give in. I would give in or it would wear off. But and it burned my finger, because of course I would like wipe it off, or I don't know. Now I have images of like holding it till it dried, but I don't know. Eventually it wouldn't really be there anymore. Like my thumb would stop tingling, or I'd get to go to the bathroom and wash my hands or something, and they'd like forget that they had put hot sauce on my finger. I don't know. And maybe that one was short-lived. I have no idea. I just have a couple flashes. But mostly it's this flash of like, oh my God, this self-soothing tool that I want so bad is gonna hurt me so bad. But it still works even if it hurts really bad. God, see, as I say these things out loud, I'm like, wow. No wonder I have a very complicated relationship with self-care. Okay, crying. Let's talk about crying. All right, so I saw this article the other day. I'm pretty confident I saved it. I really hope I did. I saw this article the other day about like 7 unusual ways that your body. This is a big one. That your body releases like energy, pain, transmutes stuff. I know the words, but I don't have them right now. They're natural ways of detoxifying. And crying is not an acceptable means of self-soothing. It's 2023, formally and fucking unheard of, like unimaginable to me, how different the future would be in the mystical, faraway 2023. See, I distracted myself. Crying is still not very acceptable. No, very unacceptable. Very unacceptable to cry openly, to cry for any length of time, to cry loudly, to shake while crying. None of that stuff's cool anywhere, basically. Even therapists can't handle it most of the time unless they are this thing that, again, was a phrase I didn't learn until, I don't know, 2020, maybe? No, 20 2017, 16, I don't know. Trauma informed. Never heard of it before then. I don't know that word. I don't think that term existed. I don't know who started it, but trauma informed or somatic therapies, body focused modalities, none of that existed. The people who exercised regularly seem to kind of have an idea, but I had a hard time exercising. I was in too much pain. Um, and the crying, as a kid, it's stop crying. I'll give you something to cry about, or go to your room. Isolate go away from me. That eventually becomes self isolation. I think because you've been so often told, I can't handle you, go to your room. So as adults, we probably still do that without realizing why. Um, so I've had to learn a whole lot of strategies for not crying at all, crying very quietly, crying as little as possible. I mean, so you see how I would get like emotionally constipated, like holding all this shit in. Shit. I've had gut issues too, for a lot of issues. Okay, holding in the tears, being teased mercilessly. I finally was able to claim part of, um, like, I would definitely get teased in a mean way, for crying at, like, a McDonald's commercial, for example. Like, there was stuff that tugged at my heartstrings much more than most people, and, I definitely saw natural beauty in a way that, I'm coming to realize few others were able to perceive. So, um, I would just naturally burst into tears. Burping, we'll talk about that. Gut health, burping, shame. Okay, I would burst into tears at the beauty of something. I would burst into tears at the intensity of someone else's feelings that I was witnessing and were probably channeling through me. I need my sweatshirt. Crying. So the article that I found, that's right. This article said that crying is a very natural clearing of toxins, a process that clears toxins. Um, and obviously, it clears emotional energy. It washes things away. Uh, there are very natural processes that go on in my body, in most bodies, during like the process of remembering hard stuff. There's stuff that like gets kind of broken up in the body in the same way that like a massage will break up, kind of release toxins. And uh, learning to drink plenty of water has been has been a really big part of my health recovery because it helps flush out the pain in that gets stuck in other parts of my body. And I have found ways and places that I can let out all the tears I want, all the tears I have. Unfortunately, that did create a number of years where I was so dysregulated by all of this, like flooding out of me, the tears, the pain, the shaking, all of it coming out from being repressed for 47, 6 years. I don't remember when it started. I got to do the math. Finally letting my tears out and finding people who are willing to witness my tears, no matter what kind of flavor they are. Well, no, I can't say that. We still have to go to the woods or do certain things, certain go certain places in order to be able to like yell or roar or scream. I wasn't allowed to scream because when we moved to Alaska, or yell, or like just be really fucking loud unless I was really far away from the house, but it wasn't safe to go away from the house. So anyhow, I, my friend and I were outside screaming our heads off, having fun. We were like just listening, playing with our voices, feeling our vocal cords, like feeling it shake in our bodies. And the grown-ups all come running out of the trailer because it was at the beginning of the time that we lived in the fucking boondocks of wilds of Alaska. Not as extreme as it could be, but pretty extreme. We're screaming. They come out, terror on their faces, fucking shotguns in some of their hands, because the screaming to them sounded like we were being attacked by, I don't know, a bear, wolf. I don't know what the fuck, but probably a bear. I've always believed it was a bear. But honestly, this memory didn't surface until I'm not sure when. Not that, I don't know. Anyhow, I couldn't scream. I couldn't sing or hum as much as I wanted to, or just vocalize, because it was too noisy. It was irritating. And we lived in a tiny house, like this, just this living room is like the size of the whole cabin. I don't know. I need to ask mom what the actual like measurements were. I need to know that. Anyhow, got to go outside to make noise, but don't make too much noise because we're afraid a bear is attacking you. Uh, don't cry. It's too much. It's too annoying. So that's a tremendous amount of energy to hold in, and the teasing could come from anywhere. The teasing could come from fucking strangers. Like, and it was this constant like, don't cry, stop crying. It's okay, don't cry. And all variations of that, you know. I don't recall ever experiencing as an adult or a teenager someone just going, oh, this looks really, if it seems like you're in a really hard space right now, you're really upset, kind of rub your back, is there some way I can be with you? I'm not sure that happened. I don't know when that first happened, but it wasn't that long ago. How did I reclaim my tears? That's right. I reclaimed my tears. I reclaimed the teasing part by just calling it out from the get-go. If I was with a newer friend, or in a situation where maybe it was like a business situation, or like some reason I'm not supposed to cry. If I would feel the tears like start to come up, or honestly, normally I feel it like far before it gets to my eyes. It's like here, and so it has a swelling from the heart, right? It comes out in my eyes, release those toxins, but also release emotion. And I think if you don't release emotion often enough or completely enough, it gets stagnant in there, kind of like, like if you leave your wet sponge in a container that doesn't drain, or even if it does, it gets scummy down there at the bottom if you don't rinse that thing now and then. You can't just leave it. So if I don't cry all my shit out, then it like, if you don't clean your colon completely, shit does bad shit in there. Same with emotion. So learning that is a natural and effective and extremely appropriate way of releasing emotional toxins, physical toxins. And it's required to drink lots and lots of water so that those tears don't make me dehydrated. And that's why I have fantastic skin at 50, because I drink a lot of water and I really got better at it, at really consistent, I think around, I think it was like 2015. Yeah, early 2015, I think, is when I really got in the habit. I had been trying to get on it for a while. Maybe it's 2014. I don't, anyway. 2015. Um, crying. Oh, right. I would start to feel it come up, and I would say something like, "Hey, don't you know? I feel like I might start to cry. I don't, I just want to say like, I just cry so easy. Don't. It doesn't really mean anything. It just means like I'm feeling an emotion, or I no, that's not really what I would say. That's not what I said. I would say, hey, I just cry really easily. Like I cry at McDonald's commercials, so don't worry, I'm not upset. I'm just feeling. I I wouldn't say that. I would say I cry at McDonald's commercials. So funny. I would say it to strangers. I had to go around making a fucking disclaimer about myself. No wonder and this is just one way. I mean, I was constantly making disclaimers. So now I'm realizing it makes sense uh, that I have a really deep like desire or push in within myself to make disclaimers at the get-go when I'm talking to someone or making a video. Um Tears. Other ways that that has been so severely shamed. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, shamed by peers, shamed by, in school, get in trouble for it from the teacher, get in trouble, like, go to that counselor. Get in trouble at work. Like, you're so not supposed to cry at work. I know that's still probably the majority of the perception. Um, but you can't cry for any reason. You can't cry for happiness. You can't cry for joy. You can't cry for beauty. You can't cry for like, wow, this is so fucking awesome. Even those like tears aren't welcome because then you have to spend a bunch of time like reassuring people, and then the moment is past, and you've missed half of the part of the beauty because you like were trying to explain to someone like, don't worry, I'm just crying because it's beautiful. So there was all of that I just realized that in this moment. um a good friend of mine, uh well, I don't know, we're not close right now, I guess, put it that way. A good friend of mine once said that like, if you had to hold in all the hard feelings, you also had to hold in your overjoy. I was overjoyed. I was overjoyed about a lot about life, and sometimes that would come out in tears. Um, and so, obviously, I'm withholding a lot. Tears aren't welcome at home. My emotions have always been explosive. Unfortunately, I that came out as people who are close to me would feel my rage. I would direct it at people because I didn't have the fucking skills to do something different. um and I really feel I'm serious about this idea I've been having for a long time, that the first draft of the big emotion is for me and the trees and the dirt and my body, like that. I feel like it's appropriate to leave a situation that is so activating that the only response is screaming, or I mean like yelling back, or um calling names. Like if that feels like the only option, I think everybody would be a lot better off if we walked away. Like I know if I was like, I'll come back to this in a little bit, I gotta go take some breaths. Like if I walked away and put my hands in the ground or held a tree or like took some deep breaths while looking at trees, uh, I would, that pause and that time alone, uh, like, okay, so even if I feel really like still energetic and upset, like going away, saying it, I should say it out loud. I should go out to the trees and go, God damn it, you motherfucker, I can't fucking believe you just said that. God damn, oh, I'm so fucking pissed. God, you fucking ass. Like call the names, yell it out. Like I want to be as expressive as possible. But the witness in that case of that huge like explosion either needs to be someone who is resourced to support that, and those folks is a whole nother thing to find them, Um, either someone in a fully resourced and able to be present with your experience and not take it on for themselves is that's the human that's appropriate to be around. Um, Otherwise, it's the earth, it's running water, it's a bath, it's trees, it's body on the ground, which I don't lie down on the ground often enough. I need to do that more. Um, okay, get it all out. Get it all out. All the pain, like the first draft is mean. The first draft is vengeful. The first draft is often like fucking awful. But if I can't ever say it, if I can't ever get it out, I can't even go to the woods to scream because, again, it might mean I'm being attacked. Um, I can't make sound. I can't make less awful sounds because those are annoying too. To others, to others. I'm always like having to like protect the others. Don't let the others be bothered by me. And yet no space provided for me to do the things that help me. And no additional tools offered. So I held in all the overjoy. I gave disclaimers for everything. I held in all the pain. And the result over is an extraordinary level of energy and emotion coming out all at once or over a period of time or something. And I can't control it anymore after a while. So like now the visuals I'm having, are me crying once again in front of my boss. Who this particular one started actually really cool. We actually got along really well, and uh, it was actually okay that I did cry a couple of times from happiness, or some variation. But then a lot of hard things were happening at home, and my job was awesome yet also demanding, and I was exhausted because I didn't have any privacy in my workplace. I was in a bullpen environment, which is fucking awful. So I was overflowing with pain and tears and upset and confusion about all the things, and no rest. I had to lie if I wanted to take a, a home day and just rest. I had to be sick. I had to say I was sick, or I had to keep going until I actually was sick in order to be able to stay home. I know I'm still in the danger zone of continuing that pattern, but I think I've gotten quite a bit better at noticing the signs of when I'm about to get sick, like too have too many symptoms of some sort that I can't do anything but just be sick and miserable. I guess I could choose, but I don't have to be miserable. Um. So yeah, I had to lie in order to take self time. I had to ask permission, even at work. I have to fucking ask permission. I need to take care of myself. I need to go to the doctor. I need to take care of myself. I need to go pump my breast milk for my baby. I need to take care of myself. I need more than 15-minute break so that I can go for a walk, and I fucking shit you not. I fucking shit you not. The fucking assholes. So here's some fucking anger I haven't let out. And I see here I've created this space where I can do and say whatever the fuck I want because everybody's already had the disclaimers. Okay, those motherfuckers. When I first came back to work, or right before I came back to work, it was before I came back to work, I had like a reentry kind of conversation with my bosses. And I said, hey, I'm still breastfeeding. I mean, I came back after 3 fucking months, those motherfuckers. No, maybe it was a little longer. I might have stretched it. I stretched it, but I wasn't able to get paid. That's right. It was 3 months partial pay, and then maybe a little bit longer of less pay. Yeah, it fucked. It was a fucked system. I should have been able to stay home with my baby for much longer. It's so fucked up that like our country doesn't do paternal leave of any kind except for in a fucking emergency, like somebody's fucking dying. That is so lame. Anywho, so I go to work and say, hey, when I come back, I'm still breastfeeding. I'm gonna take some time to pump. And they're like, well, how often you got to do that? I think it was like every 4 hours or something. It was pretty frequent. Like, also, I would just overflow. Like, I was a producer. Back in the day when there used to be wet nurses, I would have been a fucking great wet nurse. And since I was only producing for one baby, and I stored a lot, I was only producing for one baby, I probably stopped producing as much fairly, much sooner. Anyway, I was a producer. Those motherfuckers said, well, I guess you can do that on your breaks. So now I don't even actually get a break to take care of myself or do anything. Um, I mean, I don't know what I guess, I don't know what the other options were necessarily, but cut my hours? I don't know. They say, okay, well, you can on your breaks and only have 15 minutes. And it's not a 15-minute process. If you want to relax, that's for fucking sure. And it comes out better if you fucking relax. And it's already hard to relax because you got this machine going, like, I don't know. I can't make the noise, but it's like pulling, sucking on your whole fucking boob. God, it sucks. So it's hard to relax as it is. It's making a horrible noise. You don't want anybody to hear you because it's so fucking weird to breastfeed that back in those days, like breastfeeding in public was strangers would give you shit like crazy. Okay, so I have to do it on my breaks. I'm supposed to hurry. The thing is already annoying, and they make me do it in the fucking bathroom. Unsanitary. That sucked. I didn't put up with it for long. I didn't put up with it for long. And also I think to start with, I was part-time. So I'm pretty sure that did extend past my part-time phase. I would just try to time it where I would like pump right before I left for work, and then I would um, only pump if I had to in the bathroom before I left. But usually I had to because I was gone so long from the house. Um, so the bathroom didn't last forever. I eventually was like, this is unacceptable. I probably looked to try to find like some proof that it was a protected, something that I could have legal support around. And who knows? I probably didn't find it. I don't know if it existed back then in the fucking early 2000s. In 2004, breastfeeding was still too weird for there to be support around it at work. And it was hard to talk to my bosses. You had to schedule time. You had to ask permission. Can I talk to you, please? You had to ask for permission. You had to get on the boss's calendar. I had to psych myself up to stand up for myself, to create boundaries around what's appropriate treatment and what is not. And I had to come with ideas for how to have my needs met. Um, Oh, that's right. Because long before I really I asked permission. I snuck around and and pumped my breasts in conference rooms because my the office suite we were in had multiple little small conference rooms because we were a hiring agency, and so there were a lot of reasons for there to be 2 to 4 people in a room. And so we needed as many of those rooms as possible. And since I was the office manager, I knew um, pretty much when the rooms were going to be used and when they weren't. Lunchtime was a time they were rarely used, and so I would go hide. I would quietly creep. God, forgot this. I would look. I would go check the schedule, see who's coming. When do I think the rooms are going to be needed? When are they not? I would creep out into the front lobby. I think I even snuck past the receptionist most of the time. I didn't want anybody to know that I was creeping into a conference room, and I would close the door really quietly. And then I would go in the farthest corner of the conference room. Like I said, they weren't very big. And sometimes the one I wanted wasn't available. Um, and I would plug my thing in. So many fucking steps. God, this was hard. I would plug my thing in and I would sit sometimes on the floor, sometimes on the chair or whatever, but I didn't want to move all the furniture. And the tables were always too close to the door. So most of the time I sat on the fucking floor, or I guess in a chair, and would hope that nobody could hear the sound of this sucking sound, which I'm sure a lot of former breastfeeding mothers know what I'm talking about. I had the old Medela breastfeeding pump that was like this big, black rectangular thing, and people are always like, "What the hell is that?" I think I had to check it out from the hospital because I couldn't afford one. Did someone give me one? I don't know. I think I got a hand me down, which was everyone said don't do the hand me down. I'm like, I'm gonna clean this fucking thing. It's not gonna get thrown away. Anyway, I would hide in a conference room to breastfeed so that I could keep this precious, life-giving milk for my baby. Um, Eventually, I had to go to my bosses, either because I got caught, probably. I probably got caught, or I finally got out the gumption to say, "Look, it's inappropriate for you to expect me to go to the bathroom. I need a space to do this." And I don't remember exactly why they said yes, or if I had to ask multiple times, or if I had to wait. I don't remember those details. I might have had to wait. Might have been that my boss had to ask his boss whether or not I could use a conference room when no one else was using it to breast to pump. I don't know. I don't remember that. But I finally got permission. But it probably also took long enough that I was nearing the end of the time that I even needed it. um yeah. Not sure how I got on the breastfeeding from the self-soothing topic. Um but uh about time I should probably wrap up. I need something to eat. It's time to make some more coffee. It's time to do a little bit of administrative work. Um, Go potty, take a shower, and see. Here's the other. This is something that I've been. Uh, this is a self-soothing tactic that now is easier than it's ever been. um, I have been able to identify what my actual rhythm is when my body feels the best to do certain things, whether it's my body wants to rest pretty predictably. I still fight that one. Or I'm hungry, or I want to go for a walk, or I want to create, or anything else. I always knew what my needs were, but I had to ignore them because I was constantly told it doesn't hurt that bad, or um, you're making too big of a deal out of it. I can't afford to take you to the doctor, or any variation of ignore your body's signs. So now I've finally figured out what works best for me. I'm still learning to practice it and fine tune it, and it shifts with the seasons. But one of the tools that are now easier than they ever could have been in my previous memory. I mean, they didn't even make fucking planners. Back in my day, they had paper, but they didn't make planners. They just made these big old notebooks that were like
This is sort of like a trapper keeper, but not as cool. And I had a big fight with Melody once about my trapper keeper, and she convinced me that we needed to co-own it, even though it was all mine and it had a pretty horse on it. And god damn it, Melody, you took my fucking trapper keeper, and then I think I didn't even get it back. I missed that thing. Anyway, um, okay.
So there weren't journals. Um, and but now I have this much level of detail where I plan out every half an hour to hour segment of my day. And then here at the bottom, I've got stacked up all the things that I kind of want to do or thought I could try to do today or want to remember that need to be done soon. Like there's this class recording that I really want to watch. It's only available for 48 hours, so I can't put that off too far. But by keeping this schedule, I was able to, before I got on here, um, realize, okay, I really want to make I really want to make a video. I really want to just talk. I just told my friends I'm like constipated. I need to get this stuff out. And so I realized, okay, well, I really need to send some invoices to my clients. I need to make lunch. I need to shower, and I need to be on the road by about 3 o'clock to go to my friend's house. And so I gave myself until 1:30 to do this. Um, and now I know what I need to do next. I don't have to think about it. I've already planned it. Um, throughout the day, like this looked very different earlier today. But throughout the day, I just kind of I edit it. I push stuff back. I see, okay, what's the next thing that I really need to do? Reprioritize. And so then I have this handy little thing that goes with me everywhere. It's not actually as easy to lose as a goddamn Franklin planner, which a Franklin planner was like a like angel moment when that thing came into my life and I started using it regularly. That thing was God. I lost my Franklin planner so often, and it'd be like my brain is gone. Sometimes it would show back up, but now I have way better because I don't have to scratch it up. I don't have to erase it. I hate it when the pages would get all ugly. I wanted them to look cute, but I didn't know how to make them cute. So now I have this online. I have my own little virtual assistant that just follows me around everywhere, and it says, "Hey Heather, it's time for you to do some work now. You better go get some tea or something. Oh, and maybe make some coffee, and then do some work for a little bit. That's what time it is now, okay, Heather?" So thank you, assistant. I appreciate you keeping me on track so that I don't have to think about arbitrary shit like time and appointments. I don't have to stay on the same track that everybody else is just so that they can understand what I'm doing. Time is something that I see differently than most. It might be time for me to watch Doctor Strange a couple more times. Maybe, yeah, I need to go on a Doctor Strange bender. Okay. Oh no, Loki. Oh, I want to rewatch Loki, the series. That was so fucking cool. It's also about multiple selves within, all the different sides of us becoming external, but all of those are really, it's a lovely, um, amazing analogy in a really entertaining package. Okay, so that's it. I don't expect anybody to ever watch this. But if you did, thank you for being on the receiving end. Thanks for listening. Um, and yeah, I do feel lighter. My head feels less poundy in the temples. I feel very motivated to keep drinking. I'm proud of how much water I've drank today. This is my second bottle I've started on, and it's already like down here. And it's only midday. I get another walk in a little while with the doggo in the sunshine. I get to go see friends. There's a lot of super good stuff coming up, happening, and I'm feeling I have good things in the next hour and a half that are going to help my body feel even better. So, yeah, now I base my schedule on my actual flow. No one is telling me you have to be at work from 8 to 5 and it takes you an hour to get there and it takes you an hour to get ready. Fuck that shit. Fuck all that shit. I now wear whatever the fuck I want most of the time, and I wear these every day when I can. Once in a while, I wash them. Oh, I didn't even realize my sock and my socks and my sweater match. And then on my call with my friends a little while right before this, my my friends that I've been friends with for 30 years. So Laura was wearing this exact same color, and I was wearing it. So we're matching. Okay, signing off. Over and out. Thank you, Heather, for doing that. Uh, maybe there's some gems in there. I might edit some of that down for some gems. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go have a good day. I'm gonna do some more wiggling and jingling and this, and I'm gonna find my little cube. Okay, bye, 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 bye.